Okay.
All right, this is going to be your Q&A test number 1 at 120 words a minute. Proper names are Heart of the City Fashions, Heart of the City, Winn-Dixie, Apps, The Jewelry Tree, Decatur Street. Okay, other than that one day after the accident, any other days that you were to work after the accident?
Can you repeat that for me, please? Just run it by me again.
Okay, you said you were scheduled to work on the day after the accident. Were you meant to work any other days other than that day?
The whole week I was scheduled to work.
The whole week? The week following the accident?
Right. The week following the accident is correct.
Okay, so you were scheduled to go in to work the week following the incident, and you called the next day and told them you couldn't come in due to the accident?
That's correct. I called in and informed them that I had been hurt in an accident. Correct.
Understood. And now, can you just explain for the record why you couldn't go to work after the accident?
I was in pain so much that I couldn't have worked if I had wanted to work.
Okay. And the week after the accident, you were scheduled to work the Monday through Saturday, 9 to 2.
No, that's not correct. That's not right.
When were you scheduled?
When I telephoned and I told them I couldn't make it, she requested me just to telephone her back and let her know when I'll be able to come back. And when I telephoned her back and told that I was able to come back, she said that there was no hours.
Okay. Have you ever had any difficulty getting hours at Heart of the City Fashions before this accident?
No, I've never had a problem at all. None at all.
Okay. Did you ask her why there weren't any hours?
No, I never asked her at all.
When they informed you that there were no hours available, you asked if you could telephone back later and see if she had hours?
Yes, I asked her if I could. That's right.
Did you call back?
No, I never did actually telephone back.
Is there a reason why you didn't?
I was still in pain, is the reason I didn't.
Okay. And you had worked at Heart of the City from May 16th through August 24th. Is that right?
It's May the 16th, the day of the accident.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. May the 16th of 2004. Okay. And then you started working for Winn-Dixie after that.
Right.
Did you call or speak with anyone in between your job with Heart of the City Fashions and your job with Winn-Dixie?
I put in apps, but I didn't do interviews.
Do you remember when you put in applications?
No, I don't recall. Sorry.
Okay. Do you recall where you put the apps in?
No, I don't recall. Sorry.
Do you recall when you put your application in for Winn-Dixie?
In the fall.
Okay. Where did you work prior to working for Heart of the City Fashion?
The jewelry tree.
Excuse me? What did you say?
The jewelry tree.
Where is that located?
It's located at 888 Decatur Street.
What did you do for them?
I was in sales for them.
Can you describe your duties as a sales associate at the jewelry tree?
My duties had to do with selling jewelry.
Were you working part-time or full-time?
I was a full-time employee.
Were you salaried or were you hourly?
I was a full-time hourly employee for them.
How much did you earn working at the Jewelry Tree?
I earned $8.50. I
Okay, this will be your Q&A test number 2 at 120 words a minute. We have Mr. Pierce, Vance, and Home Depot. When he told you that you could lose your finger with one of those things, were you curious as to how that might happen?
No, I wasn't.
He also used the sprayers that you had there on occasion.
Yes.
Did he ever have any problems with the sprayers as far as you know?
Well, he took care of them. I don't know if he had problems.
Where were you when Mr. Pierce told you that you should get an airless gun?
Well, I had come by to check the job, and that's when he told me.
It was there at the job site.
Yes, it was.
Had they started the job at that point with the sprayers?
Yeah, we sprayed them on the ground and started the job.
Were the silos on the ground?
Yeah,
And you sprayed the silos with an air sprayer.
yeah. Vance was using the air sprayer.
After they had been built, did they try to use the air sprayer?
No, I don't think so.
Do you know one way or the other whether it was Vance that had the idea to use the airless sprayer or whether it was Mr. Pierce who had the idea to use it?
I don't know whose idea it was.
Now, do you recall that at some time within a few months before the accident that Vance ordered a bin of primer from Home Depot?
No, I don't recall.
You don't recall that one way or the other?
Yeah, well, I think he might have.
Do you know what that was going to be used for?
To paint the bins.
Was that primer going to be used in an airless gun to your knowledge?
As I recall, the plan was to use an air gun.
Now, it isn't clear to me where you saw Vance after the accident when his hand was bandaged up. Where was he?
He was in the warehouse.
Do you know if he had been to the hospital yet at that point?
He had already came back.
Do you have any idea as to how long it was after the accident that you saw him at the warehouse with his hand bandaged?
No, I don't remember.
Do you have any recollection of what time of day it was when you saw his hand bandaged?
It was in the afternoon.
Do you know if he went home from work early that day?
Yeah, he did.
Did he say he was in a lot of pain?
Yes.
Did anybody tell you anything about what Vance did within the first couple of minutes after the accident?
I don't remember.
Do you have any knowledge as to whether or not he had pain immediately, or was it something that came on later?
No, I don't know.
Is it your understanding that Mr. Pierce was with Vance when it happened?
Yeah, he was there.
In the year before this accident happened, what percentage of Vance's time would you say he spent painting?
Maybe 1 to 2 months a year.
The job that Vance had when he was working with you, was there any climbing involved?
Yes.
Does Vance do any driving on the job?
Yes, he drives all the time.
Does he drive more now than he did before the accident?
Yes.
Do you know why it is that he drives more now?
Well, he does more of the delivery work now.
Do you know whose decision it was to change Vance's job?
Well, that was the management.
Did you have anything to do with Vance's job changing?
No, they asked me.
Okay. This is going to be your Q&A test number 1 at 100 words a minute. We have Kendall Hendricks, Huma
Metairie,
Louisiana, Katrina, Howard Carrington, Nita Wilson, TSI Group Insurance, Mother's Day, Red Maple, Lafayette Street, Ms. Wilson, Kevin. State your full name for the record, please.
My name is Kendall Hendricks.
And what is your current address?
I reside at 3327 Huma in Metairie, Louisiana.
And is that your address before and since Katrina, sir?
Yes, that's right, it is.
How long have you lived there?
We've been there for 6 years now.
My name is Howard Carrington. I'm the attorney for the lady that you're suing and her insurance company. Her name is Nita Wilson, and her insurance is TSI Group Insurance.
Right, I see.
What I'd like to do today is to ask you a few questions about the automobile accident that is the subject of this lawsuit.
That's fine.
First, do you remember the date of this accident?
Yes, I remember that it was on Mother's Day. We had gone to the Red Maple and taken my mother-in-law and my mom to lunch.
Okay, so Mother's Day of 2005.
To the best of my recollection, that's correct.
And where did the accident happen?
It happened there on Lafayette Street. Just as you leave the Red Maple, there is an intersection. The car that hit us just ran the red light.
And that is my client you are speaking of, Nita Wilson?
Correct. Well, I guess. I didn't remember her name or anything like that. We just exchanged information and waited for the cops to come.
When the police arrived, how long did it take?
Oh, it was pretty quick. I'd say it wasn't more than 15 or 20 minutes.
That is amazing. I'm impressed. Must have been a slow day.
I would think. Not much going on Mother's Day.
Anyway, did you speak to the police officers after they arrived?
Sure, I talked to them. I told them she just came blaring through the intersection, didn't even stop.
Did you hear Ms. Wilson speaking with the police officers where she told her side of the story?
No, I didn't hear what she said. I didn't even care what she said. There were several people there that witnessed the whole accident.
And who were the people who witnessed the whole thing?
Well, the owner of the restaurant called me when I arrived home and informed me that two men came in and told her that if I needed someone to testify defending me, that they would. They said she didn't even decelerate.
I'd like the names of those two gentlemen, please.
Actually, I don't know if I should provide those to you or not.
As you can assume by your attorney's gesturing, you should. That is something that has to be produced to me so that I can prepare for what they might testify at trial.
So something like a preview of what's going to go down. Is that right?
Something like that.
That's fine. My attorney has their names.
I'll handle that at break with Kevin then.
Okay.
And after this accident, did you? Okay, so this will be your Q&A test number 2 at 100 words a minute. Proper names: Mr. Duncan, Alex Keller, Lynn Gardner, Ms. Gardner, and Mr. Keller. Do you know when your license was issued?
Yes, sir, I do. The date on the license is April 27, 1982.
Is there a form that one fills out to make application for the license?
Yes, there is.
Do you know when that form was filled out?
No, sir, I do not.
Do you know by whom that form was filled out?
Yes, it was filled out by Mr. Duncan.
All right. Do you know what date it was submitted to the Department of Labor?
No, sir, I don't know.
If I told you that the form was dated April 27, 1982, would you disagree with me?
I didn't submit the form. I wouldn't know the date I was told when it was submitted.
Do you know when you first became incorporated?
Yes, sir.
When was that?
May 5, 1982.
So you became a corporation then after the application was submitted to the Department of Labor. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Would you state your name, sir?
Alex Keller.
What is your occupation?
I am a sergeant in the police department.
Can you tell us whether you were an officer in charge of the case against Lynn Gardner, the defendant in this matter?
Yes, I was.
Can you tell us whether you were at the scene of the alleged crime?
No, I was not.
What was your involvement in this case?
Well, when the officers brought in Miss Gardner, I was involved with their report. I also talked to Miss Gardner.
Did you obtain the warrant in this case?
Yes, I did.
Was that the extent of your duties?
Yes, sir.
Officer Keller, you said you talked to Ms. Gardner. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Did you advise her of her rights?
Yes, sir.
Did you take a statement from her?
Yes, sir.
I will show you this statement and ask you whether that's the statement that you took.
Yes, sir.
Who wrote out that statement?
I did.
That's your handwriting?
Yes, sir.
And it was signed by the defendant.
Yes, sir.
At the time she signed it, was everything filled in?
Yes. She read it.
There were no blank spots on the page?
No, sir.
Mr. Keller, on what date did you go to the hospital?
I think it was on October 15th.
When you went to the hospital, they asked you what happened and you gave a history of what happened. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Did you tell them that she was struck by a policeman?
I don't remember whether I did.
As a matter of fact, you told them that the fight occurred at the tavern. Isn't that a fact?
It did occur at the tavern.
Isn't that where you told them the whole thing occurred?
It did. The whole thing did occur at the tavern.
You made no mention of any policemen then, did you?
I don't remember if I did. I don't think that I